that, didn't it? All right. Let's see how this goes sitting next to Mr. Everly today. Always a change. Welcome, everyone, to our public business meeting. Gentlemen, are there any additions or deletions to our agenda?
No, sir.
No, sir.
All righty. Gentlemen, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve our July 12th, 2012 public meeting.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Brody and seconded by Commissioner Valentine. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, moving right into our action agenda. This is item number 1. Gentlemen, this is the Allegany County Transit Route and All Trans Fare Proposal. I understand that Mr. Jim Stafford, our transit chief, is here, and we will turn the podium over to him.
Commissioners, Commissioner McKay, Commissioner Valentine, Commissioner Brody. We're here tonight to hopefully adopt the proposal that we've prepared, or we haven't prepared, but KFH Consultants along with MTA and also our local staff has gotten together as far as putting together a proposal. We started this again back on October 4th of 11. The proposal was given to you all initially at 6/14/12 of this year, June 14th. And then at that point in time, after public comment and all that, and doing our due diligence to hear the people and what the public outreach was all about, we took it back, we adopted some things, we changed some things, listened to the comment. We weren't able to get into everything that we would like to do, but then we brought an enhanced proposal to you on July 12th of 2012 at the Allegany meeting. At that point in time, we outlined what we wanted to do as far as the fixed route alignment and then also the fare increase. And today we come here asking you to adopt the proposal that is prepared, or that was proposed to you at the July 12th meeting. I have any questions? I've entertained any questions at this time from anybody?
Commissioners?
Good?
No. Linda, did anybody sign up for any kind of questions for that? No? Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Okay, gentlemen, I'd like to entertain a motion to authorize the county commissioners to approve the Allegany County Transit Route and Fare Proposal as presented and prepared with help from KFH Consulting Firm and the Maryland Transportation Administration for restructuring our fixed route and all trans transportation system. Is there a motion?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Valentine, seconded by Commissioner Brody. Any comments? We'll call for the question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr.
Commissioners.
Stafford. Okay, moving right along into the Office of the County Attorney.
Wait,
Up, there's an alarm.
wait a minute,
This is the Office of County Attorney.
wait a minute.
We are definitely, we are prepared for all emergencies, and we have a plan in place when the county attorney is about to speak. Linda.
Commissioner, I have a bag here under my desk, and it says open in case of RUD.
Open in case of RUD. What is open in case of RUD?
Maybe it's a gag.
Now this is the
Oh.
gentlemen, I know that I will be prepared. You guys are on your own. We are all prepared to listen to Bill Rudd.
I am more fortunate. I can just turn my hearing aid on.
You're ready, are you?
Anyhow, the standing joke is that we just don't like to hear what Mr. Rudd ever has to say at the end of our meetings.
There is an I have a payback for this. When I'm away on vacation, Mr. Levin will be here. The comments will not be as brief. Anyway,
Okay, that's
So-
fair, that's fair. Yes, sir, County Attorney.
all right.
Bill Rudd.
Thank you. The first thing we have is an introduction of Code Bill 4-12, which is an amendment to the county building code relating to residential sprinklers, and I'm happy to discuss, I guess, once we have a motion on the floor.
Certainly, certainly. Gentlemen, is there a motion on the floor to accept the amendment of the county building code regarding residential sprinklers?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Brody, seconded by Commissioner Valentine. Now we'll move into a period of discussion.
Okay. And of
Yes,
course,
sir.
this is the introduction of this bill. There would be a hearing next week, and then you would be voting on it the following week. Basically, as you may recall, the Maryland legislature this year passed a bill that basically said that local governments could not weaken the state building code as it relates to fire safety things, sprinklers primarily for 1- and 2-family homes. However, that bill does not go into effect until October 1st, and the interpretation by the Attorney General's office and by others is that the counties can opt out of mandatory sprinklers as long as you do it by October 1st, and that opting out would take place and would be effective until the 2015 International Building Code is adopted by the state and then made mandatory on the county. So at your request, I have prepared for your introduction, which you've done, or you've moved to do today, basically the amendment to the building code, which would make sprinklers in 1- and 2-family homes voluntary and not mandatory until required by the state. They are still mandatory, of course, in multifamily dwellings. We don't change that at all. Also, what would be included would be standards for sprinklers if someone should choose to introduce, put them in, that you would have to build them to the standards that the state, the federal, or the National Building Code requires.
Okay.
It just makes it voluntary as opposed to mandatory.
Okay, okay. Commissioners, any questions?
And also with this, I've made contact with Allegany College. They will make classes available beginning this year so people can become certified in the installation and the design of sprinklers. Also, I've had communications with some of the local supply warehouses, give them time to start building up inventory of the needed materials so that hopefully we'll have our workforce trained and ready to start installing sprinklers well before it becomes mandatory.
Okay. Anything? All right, gentlemen. We'll call for the question. All in favor of introduction of Code Home Rule Bill 4-12, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, gentlemen, item number 3 is introduction of Code Home Rule Bill 5-12, Braddock Run Sanitary Sewer Rehabilitation Projects Bond Authorization. I'd like to entertain a motion
For such.
of such.
So move.
And second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Valentine, seconded by Commissioner Brody. Mr. Rudd?
Once again, this is to introduce it's a bond bill, code bill. Once again, to be hearing next week and voting the following week. It's $2.5 million for the Braddock Run sewer system, sanitary sewer system. I think there's somebody from Public Works who can probably give you more detail than I can about the actual project. I think Mr. Gale's here prepared to discuss it if necessary.
Come on up, Mr. Kale, please.
Yeah, actually, what's going on with that now, we got an $875,000 grant from the state of Maryland, a $125,000 loan. The reason we're doing $2.5 million, we're anticipating we may get more money next year and next fiscal year from the state of Maryland, so we're anticipating that, so we won't have to get that process again, but it's under construction, the first phase of it right now.
Okay. Commissioners,
good.
Commissioners, questions for Mr. Kale or Mr. Rudd? We'll call for the question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, gentlemen, item number 4, regulations relating to the designation of employee organizations as exclusive representatives of the county employees and appropriate units. Like to entertain a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Rudd.
Thank you. This is basically regulations that would govern the county if some group, whether it be a union or whatever, would come to the commissioners and want to organize groups of employees for purposes of collective bargaining or change the representative of the representatives they currently have. When we passed several years ago our collective bargaining law, it basically said that the commissioners would pass regulations on recognizing or decertifying collective bargaining units. Well, those regulations were never passed. So Mr. Levin has prepared for your consideration regulations. We've modeled them after some other counties. It does provide for a vote. The vote would be supervised by the Board of Elections, so it would be an independent. There would have to be petitions, et cetera. So we think that this covers the needs that we would have in the future. If some group would come forward and say we either want to be represented by somebody else or we want to organize or have a recognized bargaining group.
So it's more just a house cleaning?
Pretty
cleanup
much,
type
yeah. I
thing,
mean, we've not had formal procedures in place, and this is, so we do have those in place consistent with the law that was passed several years ago.
Okay. Okay. Commissioners, any questions?
No, sir.
No? We'll call for the question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, item number 5, gentlemen, the Senior Care Systems Annual Plan. This is with the Allegheny County Health Department. Ms. Jeannie, I understand you're up. How are you doing today? Good?
Oh, fairly good.
All right.
All right, gentlemen, I'm here on behalf of the Allegheny County Senior Care Program. The Senior Care Program has been in existence in Allegheny County since 1987. The funds are provided by the Maryland Department of Aging to the local area agency on aging. The money is in turn passed through to the Allegheny County Health Department to administer the program. The senior care funds are used to provide gap-filling services to county residents age 65 and older who meet the financial and functional criteria. Examples of services provided by the program include in-home services, help paying for medical supplies, and personal emergency response systems. For fiscal year 2013, the Department of Aging has reallocated the senior care funds. The new allocation amounts are based on the percentage of elderly residents in each county according to the data compiled by the 2010 census. Allegheny County has 1.76% of the total elderly population within the state of Maryland. This reallocation has resulted in a 41% or $84,000 funding cut for the senior care program in Allegheny County. Reductions in services to current clients are planned, and new clients will not be added to the program until the budget is balanced. Every effort will be made to avoid terminating services to our current clients. And we are asking for the county commissioner to sign off on the fiscal year 2013 senior care annual plan as presented.
Thank you. Gentlemen, I'd like to entertain a motion to authorize the county administrator to sign the Maryland Office on Aging Senior Care System Annual Plan for 2013. Is there a motion?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Valentine, seconded by Commissioner Brody. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Human Resources and Personal Services, item number 6, resolution number 12-16. This is a revision to the Chapter 8 and other benefits of the rules and regulations governing employees of Allegheny County, Maryland. Speaking on such will be Brian Westfall, our Director of Human Resources.
Thank you, Commissioners. This item is on the agenda tonight because we consider the rules and regulations to be our employee handbook. And in preparing the item on your consent agenda for the Employee Assistance Program renewal for next year, I realized that we currently have nothing in our rules and regulations about the Employee Assistance Program, nor do we have anything in there about our flexible spending account programs. So this will correct that situation.
Okay.
Very good.
Like to entertain a motion on Resolution 12-16.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
Is there any questions for Mr. Westfall?
No, sir.
Thank you, sir. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Director of Department of Emergency Services, item number 7, fiscal year 2009 Citizen Corps Program. Understand that Ms. Lee is here.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This represents a small grant that it actually comes under the umbrella of the State Homeland Security Program, and we will be using these funds to develop brochures and training to deploy out to the communities for emergency preparedness. Two things that we're focusing on this year are going to be emergency water supply, steps that individuals can take to ensure that they have emergency water supplies during power outages, and in the same line, food storage safety for refrigerated and frozen foods, because that is an issue. So we'll be developing those products and deploying them throughout the community.
Okay, wonderful. Gentlemen, is there a motion to authorize the board president to accept and sign the fiscal year 2009 Citizen Corps Program grant?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
It's been moved by Commissioner Brody, seconded by Commissioner Valentine. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 8, look, it's you again.
I know.
Gentlemen, this is fiscal year 2012 State Homeland Security Program grant modification to the grant. Ms. Lee?
Yes, this is a modification to an existing grant, and it will allow us to construct a radio equipment shelter at the Barton Tower site. So
Okay.
it's very cut and dry,
And much needed, so.
very much.
Yeah, it is. Gentlemen, I'd like to entertain a motion to authorize the board president to accept and sign the fiscal year 2012 State Homeland Security Program grant in the sum of $219,879.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Valentine, seconded,
An opportunity for comment, please.
and seconded by Commissioner Brody. Is there any comment?
Susan, we're going to add some additional money to this, I understand from my
Yes, there
additional
will be
allocation.
an additional $150,000 allocated to the original $219,000.
Thank you for including that in the record today. We appreciate it, Susan. That's all we have.
Okay. We'll call for the question then. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Eberly, what do we have on our consent agenda today, sir?
Commissioners, today we have a half a dozen items that relate to annual contract renewals, an ESG award, a capital project, Department of Public Works for Tacoma Drive, and a modification of a contract for the Chessie Federal Building, Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Gentlemen, I'd like to entertain a motion that we accept our consent agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
It has been moved by Commissioner Brody, seconded by Commissioner Valentine. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Eberly, what say you?
Briefly, Commissioners, I was asked on behalf of the staff of the City of Frostburg to use this opportunity to announce to the citizens who will see this broadcast twice next week that the City of Frostburg is desiring to complete a public works project, which is titled the Savage Mountain Raw Water and Energy Conservation Project. Most of you realize that the City of Frostburg provides water service and water capacity for not only the municipality, but many unincorporated areas of the county. And a third of their water capacity is actually generated from wells on Big Savage Mountain. Those wells have been in place and service since the early 1900s. The City of Frostburg is desiring to update those wells, including some structures there and some mechanical systems. And they would like to have the assistance of the Small Cities Community Development Block Grant Program to do that. And in order to do it, they have to complete an income survey. As was already published in the Times News, the The city has already sent out approximately 1,500 of those surveys, and they're hoping to get 350 of them completed and returned to their offices no later than August 10th. So just encourage those folks, if you've received a survey form at your home, please take just a few moments and complete it and send that back into the city of Frostburg. Thank you.
Okay.
That's all.
Go ahead, get your earphones.
Mr. Rudd?
Where's dinner? No.
All I know is that you're not going to dinner
I
with
know,
me tonight.
I know. I have nothing.
It's your mother's birthday.
It is.
So
There you go.
you didn't invite me to the birthday party dinner.
It's a party.
Okay, I see how that is. Okay. Commissioners, Commissioner Brody,
Yes, sir.
is there anything you'd like to comment?
Well, I'll give you a brief overview of some things that's been going on since the 13th, July 13th. It was the Allegany County Control Board of Directors interview, and Saturday Allegany County Fair opened. And with that being said, I'd like to thank everyone that worked out there and had any doings with the fair, from the Sheriff's Department to the Fire Police. Everything went off without a hitch. It was a fantastic event. Monday the 16th was train pool meeting. Tuesday the 17th, Somerset County, Maryland Board of Commissioners meeting, and Prince Anne County Council of Dorchester County meeting in Cambridge. Wednesday, Chamber of Commerce Economic Development Committee meeting. Thursday, a tourism meeting with Delfest 2013. Maryland Public Television visits Allegany County, interviews President McKay. Let's go on through here and see. Monday, July 23rd, Chamber of Commerce Economic Development Committee panel discussion. Broadband in Allegany County status, opportunity, and strategies. Town of Luke meeting. Tuesday, July 24th, American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees meeting. Wednesday, the 25th, Allegany County Employees Years of Service Award Ceremony. And Thursday, July 26th, Allegany County Commissioners Public Business Meeting. So,
Perfect. Thank you, sir.
absolutely.
Commissioner Valentine?
Just a few things real quick. On the Tuesday evening of the fair, Creed and I had the honor of introducing the Colt Ford Band, which most people don't realize he actually does country rap, which is very unique. But Creed was the real hit of the show as he started to break dance on the stage while Colt was performing. A few of the things that's happening legislatively. You know, we talked a lot about Planned Maryland in the past. Some of those things are starting to be put in place now. They're looking at the septic legislation, which really, what I see in the plan and what they're talking about right now should not have that much of an effect on Allegany County. One portion of it that may have a rather strong effect, just depends on what the outcome of the language is what they call an offset program. If you create any type of residential construction outside of a designated growth zone, they will come up with an amount that you will have to pay to offset the amount of nitrogen that they think you may be introducing to the bay from that residential site. It's going to be interesting to see how they structure it, because earlier studies show that contaminants going into the bay from Allegany County represents about 0.002% of the total contaminant load. So if somebody builds one or two houses someplace and they say, well, you have to do an offset, yeah, I don't know what kind of money they're talking about, but that, yeah, we have trouble keeping home construction in Allegany County as it is, rather than it going across the river into West Virginia or whatever. And this is just another regulation by the state of Maryland that may drive those people on across the river into West Virginia or north into Pennsylvania from our area. On the fire sprinkler issue, what we hope to do in the coming weeks, we're trying to formulate a way to induce people to consider putting sprinklers in newly constructed homes even before it becomes mandatory. Frostburg came out with some regulations that they're going to use, but they really wouldn't work in the county. Frostburg, people they're dealing with are on municipal water. A lot of the people that the county would have to be dealing with are on wells. There's a lot of difference in the cost of putting a sprinkler system in a home that's on municipal water and a home that's going to be on a well. With the well, you have to go to different size pumps. You need to go to a generator, different things. So it's something that we're going to have to sit down, try to put together what we want to do right the first time around, so that the county's in a much better position for whenever it does become mandatory. We'll already be a little bit experienced at what we're doing. That's it.
Okay. All right, we have two gentlemen who have signed up to speak tonight. First one, we're calling John Amon. As John comes to the podium, just remind everybody that if you come to the podium, speak your name and address for the record. We offer a 5 and 5 here, 5 minutes to speak to the commissioners. If after 5 minutes you need another additional 5 minutes, we just move your name to the end of the list and being considerate and courteous to those who have waited. Sir.
Thank you, Commissioners. I'll try to be brief as possible, not use my allotted time. I come tonight to talk to you about the road that I live on, Georges Creek Boulevard in LaVale. Some of you may or may not be familiar with that road. I know previous commissioners were familiar with it. I've lived on that road for about 20 years now, and before that I lived on the road below it all my life pretty much. So I know a lot about that road and the history of the park there and everything. I've taken care of my end of the road, I call it, since I've lived there, because the county put up a sign, end maintenance, about 100 yards down from my house. Big sign says end county maintenance. Now, and I've lived with that. I've tried to work with this. And they have plowed the road. I'll give them credit. They do go up and turn around because there is no room to turn around. They turn around and come back down. And if they don't widen it enough, I have a little plow on a four-wheeler that I do that. My problem that I have is that it's the county park is there, the tennis courts, the basketball courts. LaVale Pool is up there. LaVale Lions Club has a pavilion up there, and it gets a lot of use, especially during the summer and the nice months. And it gets used at night for drinking parties and such, but we kind of have a handle on that. What I'd like to ask the commissioners to do is to open this road up. Your county trucks come up and clean the ditch out all the way up to the end of that, maybe a couple times a year. I'm just asking that they would do that, and especially up at the end of the park near the tennis courts where the culverts come together. They've been clogged for probably about 20 years, and that overflow ends up crossing the road, going down onto the residents in B Street. Now, they didn't come tonight because they're older folks, and it's pretty tough for them to get out. And this has gone on for quite a while now. Not a lot of work, not a lot of time your county maintenance people are going to spend there 4 times a year, maybe an hour each time, max. But I think the biggest point that I ask you to do is to open the road up and include that in the maintenance. It is, after all, your park. Now, I know you may say that it's not. We gave that to LaVale Civic Improvement Association, and I don't want to argue that fact because I already talked to Mr. Yogas many, many times over the years about that. And I know where their funds come from, so they can't do anything about it. They are lucky they can cut the grass up there, which sometimes they don't. I've always picked up the trash on an every other day basis. I pick up the trash, and I'm not asking you to do that. As long as I'm able to, I'll do that. But I would like to ask you to investigate that, to look into that, and see if you could open that road up, that remaining, I think it's 461 yards that goes up there, which the majority of it, if not all of it, front the park.
Okay.
Okay, you have my address and you have my email if you need to contact me or let me know. Again, I appreciate your time.
We'll check into it, John. Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Kenneth Wilmot.
Good evening. I'm Kenneth Wilmot. I live at 513 Fort Avenue. I have been involved with the animal control shelter since October 2010. Since that time, the animal control shelter has become totally dysfunctional. Not a single paragraph in paragraph 117 applies anymore. It's not being enforced. In the last year, I reported 2 pit bulls running loose. I couldn't even get through. The 9/11 will not put me through. Mr. DeVore has gave them instructions that they're understaffed and they have to prioritize. Let me elaborate here. I got some clippings here from the last couple of weeks. It says, disease situation at shelter typical and sporadic. Since when the shelters all across America have parvo in their shelter for 6.5 months like they had last year, official? And talking to people who interact with that place out there, parvo has never left the place. Dogs and cats getting sick and whatever. Now we have another big article here. Was written a couple months or so ago. Thousands of animals being saved and rescued at the Allegany County shelter. Well, I have the official report here by Mr. Brubaker. They only took in 977 animals. How could they be rescuing thousands of animals? Everything you read in the paper is a fairy tale, propaganda, all to solicit favoritism and sympathy from the public. The whole place is dysfunctional. I attempted to go to the last Animal Control Board meeting. I called the lady to see if, where it was going to be and what time. She said, oh, it ain't going to be. I said, why not? She says, I don't know. So now the Animal Control Board is dysfunctional. It'll be 9 months before it's scheduled. In October, it's been 9 months. I doubt if it even comes off. I don't know who runs it, but it's dysfunctional. The taxpayer gets nothing in return from the animal control shelter. You call them, I got my neighbor's dogs barking, come up and do something about it. Now, you got to go out there. We work for the taxpayer works for those people. They don't work for us. You cannot get through. We have no protection whatsoever from anybody. Now then, back to this newspaper article. This is what Mr. Brubaker says. Of the 1,300 cats we get a year, about half of them are within a 3-month window. Now, according to his official report, they only took in 977 animals. All of a sudden, he's putting out propaganda. He didn't take in no 1,300 cats. And these 977, how many of them were cats? Everything coming out of that place out there is propaganda. You people need to get in and clean house out there. Okay, he says the alternative would be to euthanize the cats because of space issues. The slaughter of thousands of animals to keep space in the shelter open. The last manager did not have the problems that these people had. She was operating that place in accordance with the law. The law says 4 days and the animal goes. Feral cats are feral cats. Stray dogs are stray dogs. Just look at the boy out there who got bit right in the animal shelter. This should have never happened. Who's paying the bill for this boy's medical treatment? Who's paying it? Are we going to pay it, the taxpayer, or is the parents going to pay it? That's a good question, isn't it? And how much is it going to be? I would estimate right at about $1,000, because you can't go in the hospital out there and come out less than $1,000. Now then, it says 2 years ago, county saved only 50% of animals, 93% now. That 93% is absolute propaganda. Again, right here. They took in 977 animals and adopted out 575. You can do that math in your head and see it ain't 93%. My time's up, or should I get another 5 minutes?
I can give you another 5. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, let's get back to this report. They call it adoptions 575. They're not really adoptions. They're running a free pet shop. There hasn't been a penny paid out there by people who take these animals home with them. They're supposed to pay $40, or they're supposed to pay the veterinarian for having them neutered. And this money should be going into our treasury, the county. I don't see any of it coming in that I know of. Transferred 130. How come they're transferring? Now then, get down to the real meat in this report. It's about as flunky as it can get, because there's about 700 animals missing in the count. Where are these 700 animals going to? Are they under their trap, neuter, and release program that they're working undercover? Or are they being handed out to people who are hoarding them? When it comes to hoarding, I had a guy come and tell me he knows where there's a lady got 400 cats in a chicken coop. He said the smell is unbelievable, and I believe him, because he wouldn't make a story up like that. So I don't know what you're going to do about the situation out there, but I told a very prominent lady about 3 weeks ago that the place is a living time bomb. It's just a matter of time till rabies goes through that place, and half the city of Cumberland's going to have shots. And this lady, oh no, we don't have rabies in Allegany County. Well, here it is, right there in LaVale. A deer attacks a lady, and it has rabies. Now people would wonder, how in the world does a deer get rabies? It's very simple. You can go up through LaVale or any street in Cumberland and look on the front porch or the back porch. There's thousands of people putting food out for stray cats. But what they're actually feeding is mice, rats, possums, raccoons, deer, black bears, coyotes, you name it. Now then, in the Air Force, we were told don't come and complain that you got a solution. I would request that the county commissioners request that people do not put out food for stray cats or any animal. This deer, how to get rabies? Very simple. He went on somebody's back porch and ate some cat food that some other animal had eaten prior, and that's very easy to get. The veterinarian, at the last meeting I was at in January, he said, one lady from the shelter got up and said, oh, it's impossible to get rabies from cats. He said, lady, he said, all you got to do is walk past an animal. You don't have to touch it to get rabies. He said, that's how contagious it is. So anyway, then on the other side, I'm requesting that before anybody in the Allegany County be allowed to give away an animal, that they have to have a breeder's license and a kennel license. I say this because yesterday I called a number that I found down at More for Less. Big sign, pit bull puppies for sale, $100 a piece. So I called this number. How many puppies do you think this woman has to sell? She's got 5 males and 5 females. So she's going to make $1,000 off that dog. And you can believe every time it comes in heat, she's breeding it. Now, this is just one person breeding pit bulls. All over the county, you got hundreds of people breeding dogs. They think and cats, they think it's real cute, they're little puppies and all. They're nice, but somebody has to take care of them. The vast majority of them are being thrown out on the road, as we all know. If you live out around Williams Road, Messick Road, Mason Road, all these people are dropping them off every day. But anyway, that's the situation. And I just hope that you guys would put an interest in that place and clean it up. If not, you're going to have more problems than what you got already. The place is dysfunctional. I've talked to people who go out there, and they only stay maybe once. They can't take the place. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wilmot. Okay, remind everyone of our upcoming meetings. Our next public business meeting will be August 2nd, 2012 at 5 o'clock in room 100. And our next public work session will be August 2nd, 2012 at 3 o'clock in room 212. Gentlemen, as we close every meeting, thank you very much for participating in your government. Have a good evening.